Hey, what's up guys, it's Shawzo here, and this is Bunker Hill. And I've turned it into a beacon of hope for the Commonwealth, and it's very well fortified. It's one of those settlements that's already built up, but I've done some cool things with it. There's actually quite a lot you can do. The main task for this settlement was decorations, but I have made some repairs and made some cool stuff, and I will be giving tutorials throughout the video. With the settlement being how it is, I've poured a lot more time making this place feel so much more alive. So enough yabbling on from myself, let's have a little walk around, shall we? What's up guys, how's it going? And this is Bunker Hill, and it's quite different to the rest of the settlements, but it is one of the 30 vanilla settlements, so it's got to be done, hasn't it? As I said, it's already built up, but I've done so much to this place. It actually took me longer than I was expecting. I thought this was going to be an easy one, to be honest. So let's jump in. This statue here, I've put a sign on there saying the Beacon of Hope, because I want this settlement to look like some kind of sanctuary for the Commonwealth. Put a couple of pillars either side. I've used the Vault-Tec poster, spun it around just to make the lettering pop a bit more. And with the scaffolding in front of the monument, it was a bit of an eyesore for me, and I wanted to do something about it, and weapon racks were the best solution for it. So I've placed it on them in a way that when you build all of them, they don't go at an angle. You kind of have to level it out. It kind of fills the voids in between all the poles and just gives it more of a tidy look. Next to the entrance is this little defense hub. And I've utilised the space pretty well in my opinion. Like, I've done some bits below it, next to it. I've incorporated it around the existing building as well. Just there was a few surprises as I was doing it. It was quite an empty space before, so I've really made it look like it's part of this settlement. And let's have a look underneath. This is for the ammo and storage, so it's really cool that you can actually use the space underneath these shack floors. There's a few gaps that you can't, because as you can see the wood's a bit low, but the majority of the time you can. So yeah, it's just some guns, ammo, a few chems here and there, nice and simple. Right next to this entrance, I don't know if you've noticed, there's a bit of a hole here with a candle. Now there's secrets in this settlement which you might notice as we walk around. I'm not going to say too much, but if you want to know what's in there, you can actually download this settlement as a mod. It will be a link in the description. I'm actually turning all my settlements into mods, so check out my pages if you want to look at anything else that I've built. So yeah, let's have a look at the actual defense platform, and I've made these posts, like I've merged them together with the rug glitch to make it like one big one. And the cool thing about up here is I've incorporated it with this little rooftop going around this existing shack, and I've turned this into another defense post. Again, using the rug glitch, I've managed to push it into the existing walls, and it just about ends there. But it does open up the eyes around the settlement a lot more, especially around the entrance. As we come down this building, I just want to show you some before and afters, because I have done quite a few bits and pieces to it. I've put some glass in, I've made a porch, I've added a few walls here and there, just to keep it nice and watertight, because I felt like it was a bit too open. And I'm really happy with the outcome of it. Nice and scrappy looking, but not too untidy. Like it looks very well put together in my opinion. This is the leader's house. It's probably the best house in this settlement, hence why I'm showing you this first. So the front, we've got a pet dog called Eddie. This is a little house, some storage to the left. And it's quite a tight space around here, but it's a do-it-all kind of shack. You don't really need to leave, to be honest. You've got a chemistry station, you've got some parts for some electronics, little stationery, cooking station, a chair. Just a nice chill out area down the bottom. And up here is another little workstation. I've managed to clip through this terminal into this already knocked over set of drawers, I think. And how I've done this is I've put the terminal directly on top of the rug. I've doubled them up to get it in there a bit more, and it just slides in perfectly. Behind me is of course the set of stairs, but I've kind of walled it off. There's a tight space either side, but you can go through it, which is important. I've turned this picture around with the pillar to turn it into a chalkboard. I have actually seen other people do this before, and it's a really cool idea to do here and there, like maybe for some classrooms or whatever. I've just about managed to fit a bed back here. As I said, it's such a tight space, but I've made it all work. So let's have a look at this gigantic thing that I've built on the monument. And you can probably guess it is a little watchtower, because it's perfect just to have like a 360 view of the surrounding areas. And I'm just going to go into how I built it right now. So what I did was put this staircase in a position that just makes everything come together, and this includes a lot of trial and error just to get it perfect, and I've repositioned the staircase so many times just to make this right, and I've done it in a way where the floor pieces are the perfect distance between the monument, so it's all equal on all sides. And once I'm happy with that distance, I start putting these corner pieces in to create a platform going all the way around. And I'm so thankful to have these corner pieces because it just makes the finished product look so good, as I want to avoid it looking too blocky and I want it to match up with the monument. And just to give you an example of the progress that I've made, you can see the gaps are nice and equal, and as I said, it takes a lot of trial and error to make this work. And to fill in the gaps, I simply just used the rug glitch, and these drawers are very generous clipping into each other, making a nice table going all the way around. And the final job was just putting some walls up, and as you can see with the columns, I've left a gap in between each one. It just breaks it up a bit and doesn't take much of the visuals away from the monument. Now I'm going to tell you how I've done the welcome sign. So you just place a picture on an existing wall. This allows you to pick it up with a pillar. And I've put it in its own area so we don't end up picking up more stuff. And I've put it on the back side because that's what we want. And I've adjusted the pillar so it's the perfect height to put onto this wall. And with the flags that I've done, it's the exact same process, but we do need to get a lot higher. So I've made this platform, and because of how I had the flag positioned with the pillar, it's clipped up to the height that matches the pillar above. So I just need to place it in a way that looks like it's hanging. So there we go, that's the watchtower. I absolutely love this thing. It's one of the first things I did with the settlement because I wanted to make something gigantic so you can actually see a bit of a difference from the before and after shots. I needed something, and it took me a while to figure it out. I've also put lights on each kind of height of each column, and it looks wicked at night, I have to say. It's like it literally is a beacon of hope during the night, because it's just this massive thing that glows up. On this area, I put some tables and I flipped these pictures and just put loads of information. It's an information desk basically. So we've got defense missions for people, then we've got scavenge missions, check out the crashed boat east from this point, explore the west side of the town, just little kind of missions here and there. But we actually have secret missions, so you need to speak to Kessler and just don't talk to anyone else. So it's a little bit of mystery to this settlement that I've put in. Now this was an entrance here. With all my settlements, I always like to just stick to one entrance because I feel like it's quite bad to have multiple entrances, in my opinion. I just feel like there's more risk, and I feel like it is a good idea to have an escape route, but I don't know. I think I prefer the idea of just blocking it up. So I've turned it into like a dumpster area. There's a couple of trolleys that you can find here and there. Just filled that in. It really gives off that vibe for this area. Behind me is the workshop area, and I've done a few bits and pieces to this one. I've added this rooftop to make a porch effect, and a few barriers here and there. It just felt perfect for a workshop area because you've got the knockdown fridge in here, and I felt like it was a natural kind of solution for this building. So you're probably wondering how you actually access the watchtower. Well, there's this elevator here, and I've managed to clip it very nice and tightly up against this existing building. And we'll do that last because I feel like it's a good natural ending to finish the settlement up on top of the watchtower, so we can just check out all the views really. Down here is a really nice little alleyway. I've actually made this building here. I've used two sloped roofs together and opened up the front and kept the inside as a residential room. Just some parts, scrappy bits out the front, just things that they're doing around the settlement, like painting, repairs, collecting, just a mix and match. I didn't want to do too much with this area because I like the clean look of this. I don't want to add too much scrap to it because I do like some tidiness in my settlements. Like, not everything doesn't have to be scrappy, you know. So I've turned it into a nice little cooking station, as there is a bit of a rooftop here. Right next to it was a massive dead bush around this tree, so as you know, I just did my usual thing with the barriers and some greenery. Yeah, we might as well have a look inside. So private, please keep out. And this is wicked what I've made. I've done this desk right. I've turned it into like some kind of ham radio station type thing. So I've done my usual thing with the rug, with the terminal. But I've managed to put the conduits on top of the radios using the pillar, and I've managed to glitch through these speakers as well. So I feel like it does look convincing that we're kind of radioing out to certain individuals. I won't say who. So there's got a couple of beds here as well. Behind me is a nice little couch back and chill kind of place. So nice little sofa, plant just to give it some life. And I rarely use these lights actually. I thought I'd go for something different with this room. So moving on outside, I never like to leave an empty space in between buildings. There needs to be something. I don't like cluttering settlements too much. There are certain areas that you should keep clear, just to make it feel like you can breathe and walk through places. But like areas like this, for example, it needs something, because it's just useless, isn't it? So I've managed to make platforms on these defensive walls. There was a bit of a hole where these wooden pillars are going around, so I've managed to use the pillar glitch and filled the void with the rubber mats. And I just put boxes on top just to make it look a bit more storage friendly, you know. And this defensive shack was already here, but I've done a few additions to it. I've made it look a bit more tight knit. Underneath is a really cozy looking room actually. I've managed to wall off the right side with weapon racks, put a cloth on the front for some privacy, some ammo out the front with a big drawer. I managed to rug glitch through a defense post into the sandbags, and it actually blends in quite nicely, to be fair. Cool little sign saying do not fire unless fired upon, because we're not savages. We do bring people in. We've got another bed in case two people are defending, and I've just added to the boxes that were already here, little chair. And I don't know if you've noticed a few of these letters and numbers around the settlement, but there are absolutely loads of them, and they are hints to an Easter egg that I've put in this settlement. So I wish I'd do that. I wish I did that more with previous builds that I've done, but I've started to put my own Easter eggs, like little clues to find out. And yeah, as I said, you will find those things out if you download the mod. Round to the right is a target shooting area. Felt like it was a perfect spot for it. The landscape's a bit awkward, but with the pillar, anything's possible. So I've put these scaffolding ramps up against what I did with the rubber mats. Did my usual clockwork with the targets. And yeah, just a little desk for some ammunition and some guns to take some shots. I had to keep this car. I know it's useless, but I don't know. I like adding lights to it just to make it look like we're working on it, or there's some components that are working. Didn't really do a lot back here. There are a lot of small details, right? But there's no like wow factors back here, because there's not really much I could do with it, to be honest. Because of the landscape, it just all slopes down. I've managed to find these mannequins. I just put them in the boot. I wanted to put something in there, and that was the best idea that I could come up with. So yeah, a lot of these defensive walls I've pretty much utilised every single one I could find with these ramps and rubber mats. This little spot's for some fishing. And talking about fishing, I actually want to talk about a recent catch that I had. So some of you might know that I go carp fishing. It's quite a big thing in my country. I feel like a lot of other countries, they see them as a pest, but we see them as like trophies here. And they get so massive, like I'm talking like £70 plus. The one I caught here was about £30, so that's my personal best, and I was so chuffed with it. Yeah, I thought I might share that. It's just another one of my passions that I like to do. It's quite funny actually, because this is like, I've got a gaming passion, so yeah, I'm behind a screen all the time, but it's good to have like a nature kind of hobby as well. So there's a good in between where I'm getting out there, but also sort of love playing my games at the same time, you know. It's a good little mix. So with this existing bridge, I've added a rooftop with some pillars, because you don't really want to go from building to building and get wet, so it needed some kind of shelter, I think. And the room above used to be a toilet, but I've decided to make something below and turn this into a toilet. And this is probably the best toilet I've ever made. I've managed to sink this sink, that works, doesn't it, into this box. And I've put some pipe work behind it just to make it look a bit more realistic. Of course, I did that with the fire pit and the pillar. Little table, I've converted to newspapers now, not pre-war money to wipe yourself. It's another little thing I've discovered, so I feel like newspaper might be a bit better. I've kept the pallet in here with the boxes. Again, always a nice addition to it because it's unique within itself. And yeah, just a very simple room to do your business. This section over here, I've just decided to put a massive chair because it's a nice chill out area, as there's the bar right next to me. This corner, you can't really do much, so I did the same with the rubber mats, just made it a nice plant area, bit of storage. And yeah, this is the bar. I'll give you some before and afters. I have done quite a lot to it. Probably won't notice it if I didn't give you the before and afters. Couple of colourful doors. I've made the bar look a lot more welcoming. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. This signage takes forever to do. So whenever I see someone that puts this letter in this order, nice and tidy, you have to respect it because it takes a while. So I've turned this into a bar slash hotel. So you can stay the night and you can get drunk at the same time. There's reasonable prices. You've got beers at 2 caps, vodka 5 caps, and whiskey's the most expensive, 8 caps. You've got the room rates. So I've named every room because it's nice to, I don't know, it's cool to have a different theme, you know. So I've got the shanty for 18 caps, the scrap nest 20 caps, and the hangout 30 caps. The hangout is a shared accommodation, so it's slightly more expensive, but it's still a good price. So they're open 24 hours a day. I've cluttered the bar with not too much, just enough for it to feel like a bar where there's alcohol. They do a couple of toasties here and there. They do some food. And inside, I've done this like little beer dispenser workstation. Pint glasses are perfect for this kind of concept. Back here, loads of alcohol, table. So this is the hangout. So this is if you want to rent a room out with a child, or you just want to share one with a stranger. Quite a tight space, but I've made it work. Nice and cozy looking. A few candles here and there. Of course, I've kept this platform with the safe because why would you delete that? Oh, there's a sign here as well. Jeff was here at this date. That's part of the Easter egg if you want to check that out. So let's make our way upstairs and look at the other hotel rooms. And this one here is the shanty. I love the setup in here. I've managed to squeeze in a set of drawers, a bed, sofa. Now there was a window here, so I've done my usual thing with weapon racks because you don't want someone throwing a grenade whilst you're sleeping, do you? I was going to turn this into defense posts all the way around, but I felt like it needed more rooms instead of the one downstairs. But I did keep the middle one as a defense post because there's a bit of a blind spot behind the settlement because that massive watchtower only does so much and can only see more of the front rather than the back. So yeah, nice little area. I love these planks of wood that go over this concrete. Nice little workstation table. Yeah, good view of downtown Boston. So let's have a look at the scrap nest room. Different arrangements. I've made a feature wall with some signs just to give it that kind of scrap vibe. And again, simple living. It's all you need. So this side of the settlement, I've utilised it for some gardening. And this little patch here was quite grassy and the landscape was a little bit awkward. So what better position to put a garden. This space was a little bit grassy and I just couldn't for the life of me figure out what to put here. So I felt like this settlement needed a bit more of a garden space anyway, so I've kind of curved it all the way around with the barriers, done my usual greenery. So with this building, I haven't really touched it. The only thing I've done is put the glass in. That is it, with this little garden area on the front as well. It doesn't have to be totally watertight because it's only used to feed the Brahim. There's nothing special about it, to be honest, but I have added a few bits and pieces. I've kept this little pin as it is. I've added a greenery area, a couple of bathtubs, some boxes, just to keep it looking different. It's just a nice addition. I don't feel like I do this enough with my settlement, so I felt like it's worth keeping, you know. So the building next to this, there were a couple of holes here and there, so I've filled it up with my own walls, and because yeah, you don't want to be smelling or hearing these Brahim all the time. And I've turned it into a clinic actually. I don't know why, it felt like a good kind of building for that. So we've got a waiting area, a few toys for some kids waiting as well. And I put some rubber mats down in here just to give it a bit more of a hygienic, clean look. We've got a surgical chair, some shelves, a couple of mannequins to look at the human form of, like, I don't know, they might demonstrate how bones break or whatever. We've got a terminal that was already here. Perfect little spot for it, right in the corner. And I've made like this operating chair, like, you know, when you go to the doctors, there's always like this blue matted chair or whatever. You just lie down, they check you out. Just wanted to go for that kind of vibe. Got a nice big spotlight above it as well. And this is, I've done quite a bit to this actually. It just felt a bit bare. It needed a lot more. So I've extended out the porch. I've added some walls here and there. And this shop is where she lives as well. And I've made the idea of she sells guns that she's made up. So it's basically mostly pipe guns. And it felt natural to do that because there's a workshop behind and it's where she makes all the pipe work. And as you can see next to it, I've put some guns that look like they've been made from parts that have been scavenged. And next door to it is where she stays. Now, she's not doing the best. Business isn't as good, so she's just got a mattress. Little sign there for just for some hope for the future. Back here is just some storage for the shop, and we've got a little switch to close the door at night. So this side of the scaffolding, I've done more of the same with those weapon racks. Couldn't really do it where the stairs were, but I don't think it looks too bad how it is. Down below, I've kept the barrels. I've just made it look like it's a construction site, so we're still kind of adding some pipe work that I've put down. Down here, again, a rubble that you can't do anything to do with, but it's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is with no mods. I've made this look as tidy as I can. So there's a chair, couple of chairs, box, little snack machine. I don't want to put too much, because if you put too much in an area where there's rubble, it makes it look a bit too messy. So there's two ways of accessing the main building. Of course, you've got the door over there, but that's for staff only. You can actually access if you go around here. There's a big enough gap either side to go through. But before we look inside, you can actually access the scaffolding. I've left the gap, and it felt like wasted space, so I wanted to make use of it. It's just access to the turret over there. Couple of construction bits. So I wanted to put something up here. I didn't want to leave it empty. So it's time to look at the main bits of the settlement now. The most important parts where I've put a lot of work in. Not to say I've not put any work in on the outside areas, but this is where most of my time has gone into. But before we go into the main building, this little room where the monument is top secret. And only the leader or anyone very close to the leader can access it. But for now, we can just flick the switch, and it's pretty much a dead giveaway what this place is about, the narrative that I've put in there. It's about the Enclave, and but there's very subtle hints. There's not like any signs saying, I am the Enclave. Yeah, there's a few American flags, but I feel like anyone could be patriotic in the wasteland, you know? Very clean look. I haven't put any clutter, just some very mysterious tech that only certain individuals have access to. And there is a limit of which you can build up here. It does stop, but I have done a little something. Put some candles on the stairs, and at this little corner I've put a cool little kind of spy outfit with a silencer. And yeah, it's just going out there spying on certain individuals. I've put a little Easter egg, so if you guys want to download the mod, you can figure out what these codes mean by looking around the settlement. And it pretty much stops there. You can't really build any more to the top, which is a bit of a shame. I would have done something cool right at the top, but I kept it as a sniper nest. It's basically how it is originally. So let's move on to the main building, and this was just a massive transformation. I'll give you some before and afters just to see the level of difference that I've made in here. I've put loads of interior walls. There's so much stuff. I've probably spent like a good few days just in this room, you know, to make it look really cool, really different. I've turned this into an information desk area. This is where the leader usually chills. That's Kessler in a new suit. And it's yeah, it's just anything you want to know about the place. Of course, she's going to keep it hush-hush about everything, but yeah, I really like what I've made here. I've made some concrete bits going all the way to the top. Leaves a little bit of a gap, so I've done the rest with weapon racks. And yeah, it's just I've utilised every corner, every inch of this room, but in a way that doesn't look too tight. So we've got a nice little smoking area with a little chair, chemistry bits and bobs in that corner. And inside, most of you would know, you have actually got access to an underground bunker. And it adds to the cool narrative I'm going for. I mean, there's already cool lore with this settlement, but it matches with the Enclave idea as well. So I've put mats over it, a table, a box, just to make it seem like it's secret. And it's just, you see loads of secrets around this settlement, and I've put little hints of the Enclave everywhere, like I said. Got a massive jukebox, little workstation. And of course, I've really made the effort of not forgetting toilets now. So I've made this little shunty kind of structure. What used to be a doorway there, originally I think the developers blocked that off for whatever reason, so I've turned it into its own space. And it's a scrappy toilet. You can just about see the toilet with a couple of plants, a newspaper, and I put a cloth over there for some privacy. I love it. It took quite a while to make it look decent, not too messy. I've added some rubber mats just to give the room a bit of character. Put a table bang in the middle. We've got some bits and bobs on here. We've got a chill out area with a TV. It's just a very multifunctional room with this first area, and I'm really happy with the walls that I've put in place. It just goes so well in here, and I've mixed it up with the red wooden walls and some scrappy ones as well. I will tell you how I've done this, but it's part of the rooftop repair that I've done, so once we go up there I'll give you a little bit of a tutorial of how I've done it all. So with this shop, this is actually behind one of the bars in the next room, and it does a couple of things. So there's a little side hustle, haircuts for 15 caps. Just trying to make use of this little space here because I didn't know what to put here. Little sofa for people waiting for their turn. And this is more of a dessert bar, as you will. It's just anything sugary, any kind of milkshakes or whatever. Got a nice little cooking station and a sink. Filled up all the shelves nicely. Again, I respect anyone who does this by hand because it takes a lot of time to do. So let's have a look at this main area, and I've managed to add a lot to this existing bar. I've clipped through some more shops and I've made this header above it with some pillars just to give it that classic kind of pub sort of bar feel to it. Got the classic bar stools, big tables in the middle. I don't usually use these tables, they've got a bit of a clean look to them, but I feel like they were right for this room, and I wanted to get rid of those horrible kind of mesh tables that you can't delete, so those were the perfect ones for that. To the left, some more dining areas. We've got a little table for some spare plates, cutlery, salt and pepper, and I've cluttered the bar with so many beers, cigarettes, just the right balance of clutter. You don't want to overdo it and you don't want to do any less. We've got beers on tap here, as you can see, with the nozzles. I put some pint glasses underneath. We've got some signs, similar prices to the hotel. I think they do a little bit more expensive prices because it's just convenient, isn't it? We've got potato soup, we've got fish pie, we've got steak. You just got a bit of everything. It's proper VIP in this place. And the most annoying thing about this room was this massive hole on the side there. So I've managed to fill it all in with these wooden picketed fences. And this bar over here I've turned into a wine bar. And it's dedicated to that because the other one's just beers and ales and so on. And this guy always hangs about this bar every day. He's very well dressed, and it felt like it suited the vibe. So yeah, we got a few tasters here and there. He's got a knife and a chopping board to cut up some berries because he does make his own wine here and there. This is a little storage corner, just a bit of fish, some containers here and there. We might as well have a look behind the bar, and I always like doing this with weapon racks. I fill in a few of the shelves just to make it less of a task to fill in everything. But it still looks good if it's well cluttered. Behind me is a nice little workstation. We've got some taster glasses, a few additional glasses if people want a bit more. And above, I've used the big shelf as like a header for the bar. And I didn't want to leave it empty, so I just put loads of wine up there for extra stock. And it did take me a long time because, as you can see, it's all done by hand, and it's very time consuming. I was able to do it, some of it in build mode, but some of them I had to do it by hand. But yeah, I didn't want to leave it as an empty space. So around here is a nice little chill out area for the staff. We got a box for the potatoes, and around here I've actually put a lot of detail back here. Little table for some spare glasses, a bit of stock up here for some whiskies, lemonade. Coffee making machine. I've done a similar thing with the weapon racks. Couple of weapons in case it kicks off, because I'm sure it will. And I've managed to use the gaps on these shelves and just put some extra glasses, some beers, some milk bottles. And they do food here, as you can tell from the tables. Nice big cook station, plenty of meat, plenty of vegetables. A little beer making machine as well. I'm really happy with how I've made use of all these tight spaces because it's not easy to figure out. Back here is a nice little chill out area for the staff, as well as the one that we saw. And we got a little sink, little washing up area with a couple of baskets, and yeah, it's a good space for it. I did put this wall up to block off the other bar because we do want to keep that separate. I hope you guys can appreciate the amount of time I've put in this room. It's took me longer than I was expecting. Even these signs, look, I've blanked off. I've made like a border with all the white little tiles. Like that takes a lot of time. Even making the bars took a lot of time. And that's just great, isn't it? That's just perfect. It's quite funny that, isn't it? I'm saying how much time I've put into this, and then this geezer just sits down and just Yeah, let's have it. Let's just fling everything everywhere. That's really annoying, mate. I might have to adjust that at some point. That's the issue of no mod builds. Yes, I get a lot of comments saying don't all your items fly about everywhere. I'd say 10% of the items do. Majority of the time it's okay, but any issues that you find, just readjust it, and then most of the time it's fine. It does solve the issue. Back here, I've turned it into a defense post because I felt like it was silly to use as a toilet, because you've got a massive opening here which you can use to look out onto the back streets, and you don't want to be doing your business and then get a shot on the back of your head. It just doesn't make sense to me. So turned it into a defense area. It's a blind spot, so it's got to be done. I know the cloth covers it a bit, so I think naturally you would just lift it up, wouldn't you? I know you can't actually do that in game, but it's part of the role play. So as you saw earlier, the only way up is this elevator. So let's make our way up there. And here we are on the rooftop, and as you can see, I have fixed the rooftop, and I'm going to go into how I've done that right now. To start this off, I'm placing this floor piece in a way that matches the lines with the existing concrete rooftop. And you'd be surprised, just by doing this simple thing, it opens the door to loads of opportunities on fixing this rooftop. As you can see, it's right up on the edge of that line where it curves down, as well as on the other side. That's exactly what we want. It's like it's all just made to fit. And the next stage is just as easy. You just build some walls going down below onto the existing bricks. As I carry on with the repairs, these chimneys are in the way, but it's no biggie. I feel like I can do something cool with these a bit later. But we can carry on with the normal floors, and I'm just lining it up with the broken pieces here, and it does actually line up perfectly. That's exactly what we want. And completing this section, we are left with a gap below which rain can get in, so let's try and fix that. So I've made this blueprint using a corner, a half wall and 2 big walls. Using the pillar glitch, we now pick it all up. We'll move into the room, and we want to keep that bottom lip of the walls just touching the floors, and there we go, it clips right into place. Now I'm doing this section, and it's a lot easier because we can see a lot more, and I'll just delete that wall because we were just using it to get this job done. And there we go, it's all nice and sealed off, there's no rain getting in there, and there we go, this is the end result. I've fully decorated it up here, keeping a nice big space in between things, not too cluttered. It's pretty much a chill out area for the security because they spend most of their time up here. I've made this little porch effect for the bed and put loads of boxes underneath it. It just gives it a unique look instead of putting a framed bed there, you know. A decent shelter. I don't think you'd get wet underneath there. Put a box car because again, you got a blind spot back here. You want to keep an eye on the rooftops around the place as well. Back here, nice little cooking station. I've put some barriers going around to avoid people falling onto the cloth. We've got a few plants. I've put a fire pit inside these chimneys. It was a nice little addition. Of course, I used the rug glitch doing that. It goes really well, actually. I put another defense post looking out onto this area. So I think the fence was really lacking originally, and I feel like I've improved it massively, I think. A nice little shelter with a desk just to make some plans on strategic ways of defending the place. And of course we've got access to the watchtower above. And as I said before, this was all possible putting that staircase in that particular position. If you get that one step right, everything just comes together so well. So yeah, then we'll finish off the tour on top. So we've got a little box for components. We've got a few Enclave messages here and there, but it's toned down. It's not like screaming that we're Enclave. And I just love this little table going around the monument. It was purely just to fill in the gap, but I can actually make use of it. And I forgot to mention to you guys, this is like the absolute limit of what you can build on top of the settlement kind of out of bounds area. I can't go any higher. So in build mode, I couldn't place anything on these tables. So it had to be like any items that you can do by hand. So yeah, it's the absolute limit. I've managed to squeeze in some defense posts on all of the windows using the rug. And yeah, I just love the fact this is as high as you can go. So you can pretty much see a good portion of downtown Boston. Really, really good for defense. And back here's just a little workstation for some weapons. And a little dead end area with a couple of boxes. That's the end of the tour now. I just want to finish it off by thanking you all for 80,000 subscribers. This journey has been absolutely mad. I started this settlement building series on Fallout 4 about a couple of years ago, and I never would have thought it would have got to this level. Like, we're getting close to 100,000. That number is just insane to me. I just never thought it would happen, to be honest. And I feel so blessed that a lot of you have really hooked into my content and you enjoy it. And a lot of you have shown that you actually like me personally, and that's so important to me. Like, the fact that a lot of you stay here, not just for my building, but just for me as a person, and I really do appreciate that. And I do want to talk about, so it's been roughly around a year now since I brung out my Finch Farm video about the sad news about my dad. And I just want to give you an update of how I've been feeling, really. Of course, the feeling never goes away. I still cry occasionally. It's still like absolute sadness, and it's one of those things that, like, I'm not a religious person. I would like to say I'm open-minded to things, but it's hard to really accept a death of a loved one. You know, it's really difficult to get your head around it. And like, I'm just going to say, I just hope that we reconnect in somewhat way when I eventually go one day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make this video depressing, but it's good to sort of, like, I announced it to you guys about a year ago, and a lot of you have been wondering how I've been getting on. And I feel like I like talking to you guys about it, because I read the comments, and the amount of comments I got when I announced it and what I was going through, it helped me so much. You guys just really put yourself out there for me and just showed so much love, and it helped my family as well. They even read some comments, and I just want to thank you for that. You know, it brought a tear to my eye. Honestly, it was so supportive, and it just shows how great this community is. Just like this little settlement building thing from a Fallout game, like, there is a strong community, and we all care about each other. But yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest, to be honest. But yeah, there's only so after this settlement, there's only 2 more settlements until we have basically rebuilt every settlement in the Commonwealth. There's only 2 more. We've got Abernathy Farm next, and then it's Spectacle Island, the big one. And yeah, that's going to be my biggest project ever. It's going to be bigger than Sanctuary. It's going to be bigger than a castle. It's going to be gigantic, and I want to go out with a bang. Of course, my settlement building isn't going to stop there when I've done every single settlement, because you've got DLC settlements, and a lot of you have been screaming for me to do the Vault build and any kind of Far Harbour locations, and I haven't actually personally done any of those settlements. I've only kind of dived into the vanilla one, so it's going to be really interesting for me to dive into that, and I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, exciting times for the channel. I've got so much content planned for you guys, and I'm just really excited to grow even further with you. Again, 80,000 subscribers is mad. And I know my dad would be looking down on me and like being really proud, because the last time I told him, I think I was on 30,000 subscribers the last time I spoke to him. So from that point back there, like, we've grown so much. And yeah, the goal is 100k. I want to get that plaque for that physical reward, and it's just something I could look back on physically and just be proud of, you know. I'm kind of doing it for my son as well. And yeah, just to give you an update about my son, like, we're doing absolutely great. He's ticking all the boxes. Like, he's crawling. He's doing what a baby does, you know. But it's a struggle, but it's the best kind of struggle. It's really it does change your mindset becoming a father. It's such a strong level of love, you know. My partner's doing well as well. She's happy, and yeah, we're just such a happy family, and we're just so good for each other. And I'm really just looking forward to the future, and I think that's what's important. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video as usual, and just thank you for joining on this journey. Like, it's been mad. It just baffles me that so many people just are hooked into my content, because I do make effort into it, but I never thought it would get this popular, you know. But yeah, I'll stop. I feel like I'm rambling on at this point, but I'm going to end it here. You know me, I'm not going to end the video without the night shots. And yeah, just look at this. It's just a beacon of light within the darkness. I'd be so pleased to come across this in the wasteland. but I love the narrative that I've gone with it. It's not quite what it seems. There's a few secrets here. I do see similarities with the Covenant because both settlements don't really encourage you to build, and I have to say this is my favourite of the two. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.